On the 2nd of September of 2024, I packed all my belongings and I left Cambridge with 1 year remaining of my PhD. Now, if you're not here, don't panic. I finished my PhD very recently, a few months ago, and I am now a postdoc in the US. If you stay until the end of the video, I will share where I am in the US doing my postdoc. But for the moment, I'm just going to tell the story of why I left the city of Cambridge with 1 year left of my PhD. So this is gonna be a bit of a story time. Get comfortable, and I hope this is kind of interesting. I haven't heard of anyone doing something like what I did, so that's why I am sharing it. And if you're new here, you might not know that I also did my undergraduate in Cambridge, and this is important for the reason why I decided to leave Cambridge early. So I started my mathematics undergraduate in October of 2017, and I finished the undergraduate part of that in 2020, so during the pandemic. And then I did a 1 year master's, technically an integrated master, so it was part of my degree, so that's 2020 to 2021, so those were 4 years. And then I decided to stay in Cambridge for my PhD as well, and the main reason why I chose to stay in Cambridge over other places is an academic reason. I really wanted to work with the person who became my supervisor in Cambridge, and that's why I chose to stay in Cambridge, even though after 4 years I was slightly tired of Cambridge. But nevertheless, I had an awesome time at the start of my PhD. I changed colleges, which I have a video about it explaining all that and what a college is and everything. So definitely I was so happy to stay in Cambridge, and I really enjoyed my PhD, and the first 2 years of my PhD were amazing. I had a lot of fun. And during the third year, I was still enjoying the academic component because I love what I do. I was doing a PhD in applied mathematics. I make mathematical models for infectious diseases like COVID or influenza, and I really love my PhD, and academically I was doing pretty good. However, I think by that time, the third year of my PhD, I had been in Cambridge for almost 7 years, so that was my 7th year in Cambridge. And Cambridge is a lovely town. It has a very special place in my heart because basically all my adult life had been there at the time. I got there when I was like not even 18, and it's lovely, and I had a great time there. However, it's a bit small. It can be a bit of a bubble, and of course you can get to other places in the UK, and when I was in Cambridge I went a lot to London and other places in the UK, but I just think I'm from Spain, and I don't know why, but on my 7th year I really started noticing the effect of the weather on my mood. The British weather, it can get rainy and cold. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not cold like minus 15 degrees or something like that. I think the coldest I had was like -7 Celsius or something like that. But it's also dark and rainy, and in the winter there's very little sunlight. Like, it can get dark by like 3 p.m. and I just started noticing that more and more, and I like kind of being outdoors, going out for a run or rowing, and that helps a lot with dealing with like seasonal effects. Like, it even has a name, like seasonal affective depression or something like that, and it wasn't extreme or anything, but that kind of just contributed to me being tired of that. And also after 7 years, like, I kind of had like 2 lives in Cambridge. I had my undergraduate life and then my PhD life, but because your undergraduate friends graduate and they move on to jobs or PhDs elsewhere, and so you kind of have to start from scratch, and that was fine. Like, I actually had a more fun time socially during my PhD than during the undergrad, but I think by the end of my PhD, like all the friends that I had made during the PhD, like they were also finishing themselves, they were graduating. So it just kind of felt like I would have to start from scratch again for another fourth year. And it so happened that my supervisor was going to be on sabbatical. So this is something in academia where I think it's every 7 years, but it might vary by universities. Like professors get a chance to not have to teach, so they don't have teaching obligations, so they can do research elsewhere. So most academics just use that to do like a few months of research at another university, so they can talk to collaborators. And this is usually like, or often abroad, even in a different continent. And so my supervisor was, during my third year of my PhD, my supervisor was planning her sabbatical for the fourth year. And I got to the point where I was like, oh, okay, but she isn't going to be here, so why do I have to be in Cambridge? Because I do mathematics, and I don't need a lab. I just use computer, and I don't even need like high performance computer or anything. I can get away fine with my laptop. Indeed, that was what I was doing. And of course there were like a few seminars or something, but a lot of them were already online or hybrid. And also, like, me being interdisciplinary, being in a math department but doing like so applied like biology work, I didn't have like the greatest like I guess opportunities for interactions on a purely like scientific context with other colleagues or other PhD students, because we were doing so unrelated things. Of course, like socially it helps to talk to your peers or postdocs or mentors or something like that, but I didn't have a strict academic need for that. And so I don't even remember how I got the idea, but I was just like, well, I'm gonna be writing up my thesis. I'm barely going to be meeting my supervisor like maybe once a month or every 2 months, really, because I'm just typing up chapters, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. And I found out that there's this option to apply to have like leave to work away from Cambridge. So that's an option that the university offers if you've covered enough research terms, and you need to have like support from your supervisor and your college and your department to do that, and you need to have a reason to do that. But one of the common reasons is writing your PhD thesis from home. So that's what that's an option available for students who are PhD students who are on their final year, like it was gonna be my situation. And so I talked about it with my supervisor, and that's what I did. I applied to do that, and I got it. I was also in a very lucky like personal situation where I could go home and I was gonna have enough space, like a quiet working space and everything. So that's what I did. And if you've watched some of my videos from last year, I was kind of on different backgrounds everywhere, and that's kind of a bit of a twist in the story, that I spent a lot of time at home in Madrid, but also I thought, well, I have a completely online job, and I could be anywhere. So one of my, I guess, hobbies is to travel. Like I like to travel or explore new places, and also like I have a bit of a like, I don't know, explorer spirit. So I decided to be a bit of like a digital nomad. So it wasn't something permanent, because I still had my home base in Madrid in Spain, and that's where I went when I had to finish writing out my thesis, and I really needed like no distractions or anything. But I also went to the Canary Islands, like spent a month there, working from there and meeting a lot of other people with online jobs, and better weather than in mainland Spain. And I also went a bit to like along the Mediterranean, like Malta and Greece and Cyprus, and that was amazing, really. I am really glad that I did that. Of course, it was slightly expensive, but still within what I could afford with a PhD stipend, because the cost of living is lower in some of these places that I was choosing specifically so that I could afford those. So that's why you if you look at my old videos, I'm kind of like all over the place in terms of backgrounds and everything. However, now that's over. Now I have an in-person job. As I said as I revealed on my previous video, where I was in this same room, I am a postdoc now in the US, and I am in the University of Georgia. So I'm in the southeast of the US, and I chose the university for academic reasons. Like, that's what I'm going to always prioritize. Like, I'm with my PI, my, I guess, postdoc advisor. I really wanted to join his lab and work with him, and so far it's been amazing. But also, it's a blast that the weather in Georgia is pretty good. It's definitely warmer than than Cambridge, and warmer than Madrid. Really, I don't think it's quite like the Canary Islands, but I'm loving it here so far. It's like late November, and I'm not gonna be wearing a coat in my commute today. So that's been amazing. So I hope you found this video interesting. It was a bit of a chatty one, but as always, please subscribe or give it a like. It really helps with the channel. And let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for other videos that I should make.